Welcome to Hire Smart Virtual Assistant's newest edition of Company Spotlight. We celebrate the best in our clients and want to recognize them for the leaders that they are. We hope you enjoy listening in and that you're able to pick up some words of wisdom that you can apply in your own business. Welcome to the show.
Hi, my name is Ann Lackey. I'm the co-founder of Hire Smart Virtual Assistants. And today we have Mark Scott. He's the broker of Encore Realty. And Mark Scott's been licensed since 1994. Can you believe it? Good for him. He's been a broker since 96. He looks like he just graduated. He's got that young face. He's been managing property since 94. And so he's a past president of his local association of realtors. He's been involved in the state, national level. He's been managing around 200 doors for a little over 2 years. He joined NARPM at the end of 2017. He actually is our Cal NARPM president. And more importantly, he's a great Hire Smart virtual assistant client of ours. So welcome, Mark. Talk to us a little bit. Is there anything I missed as far as your background that you want to share with people?
No, I think that's good enough.
That's great. Well, listen, we are so excited to have you on the show today. And today is just really casual. First of all, I want to say congratulations. Your virtual assistant actually won Top VA Newbie of Q3. How exciting is that?
Awesome. She deserves it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So for those of you that might not be familiar, part of what we do to create a company culture is celebrate excellent customer service. And so in order to be even considered for Top VA, they have to go through a lot of hoops. They have to have a client recommendation. They have to be flawless in their documentation. And really, we have very high standards in general. And these VAs that make the top VAs are actually the cream of the crop. They're the people that have excellent communication. And so we're so delighted that Belle got nominated and actually won. And she is a superstar. So tell us just a minute for a little bit, how was it when you got started working with Belle? I mean, kind of share with our people, because that's always the question that people have, like, okay, like I know I want to do this, but I'm really nervous. I don't know really how to get started. And I don't know. So tell us about your experience in hiring Belle.
So I'll try to succinctly summarize it. I had an office assistant for a lot of years now in the realty business, and then it transitioned into property management. She was costing about $4,000 a month, and I was wanting to implement certain things of end of day reports, and I'd like our maintenance structure to look this way. No, it's too hard, it's impossible, was the internal office staff. I was in New York on a college trip with my daughter when Belle started, so I did not have time to train her.
Which is not recommended as a way to start, but
no, it's a terrible way from me. And to Belle's credit, she watched the videos that I sent her. I spent a couple minutes with her, gave her convoluted instructions, and now I start getting emails of this is being done, that's being done. And Belle started and was able to make some decisions that I told her, please make decisions. She could call a staff member in my office if she needed help, and I didn't have her Skype phone line set up. I was a disaster, and Belle,
it still worked.
Belle succeeded, and she started implementing things that my office staff was opposed to, at like a quarter of the price, and I'm getting, I don't know, 20 times production. It's been a big, big, big difference. And I didn't realize how much money I was burning the way that I did it. And I had met you, Ann, at, I can't remember which conference, but I liked you and I thought, I'm going to give this a go. And can't believe I resisted doing it.
I hear that all the time. People are like, once they get, and I tell this to people, like, once you start the process and you go through it, you're like, I'll never hire traditionally ever again because it's just too hard. But it's something about that first step. Like, I wish I could teach people more, like, it's okay. Like, I got your back. Like, I'm going to help you through the process. And the VAs that we hire are amazing because we pay them well. We have health care. I mean, there's lots of things we do on the back end to make it again, our culture, even though we're all kind of all over the Philippines, we're real remote. I think we do a good job of supporting our people, which helps our clients, right? So, because that's important to me that we have this community online and available. But tell our listeners a little bit about, so what are some of the things that Belle does? Because that's another question I get all the time. Like, well, I don't know what they can do. So what does Belle do for you?
So I'm super excited. We switched our lease form, and I don't know how to put it in Appfolio. Belle watched some videos, and she sent me a PDF of what it looks like. And I didn't have time before the call to see, because I gave her the task this morning, although we started talking about it a couple days ago. So she educated herself on how to do something that honestly, I don't know how to do in uploading a form. Our lawyer who I bought the form from said it takes a long time to get it set up in Appfolio, but once you do, you'll love it. So I thought, oh, I'll give Belle a shot. She seems talented, and so I think she's done that. And help me with your question again.
So what are some of the
Oh,
things
what
that
she
she
does.
does on
Yeah.
a day-to-day basis?
So she was able to do that. She does all our maintenance coordination. I have a client where we're seeing, I think, 4 properties tomorrow with an appraiser, and she scheduled all of those appointments, and those are apartment buildings. So each of those, there's probably 16, 17 clients there, and we have a response from all but one. And it's not from lack of follow-up that we've not gotten her. Belle, in every end of day report, when we speak over the phone or over Skype, she says, I'm still trying to get that last tenant. And it's, I think her goal to get 100% and 100% accuracy always. And so she's been terrific picking the vendor, and she'll call me, hey, I have this. What vendor do you think? Is this Carlos or is this Scott? Is this guy or is it that guy? And with very, very few exceptions, I think, oh, maybe we should send the other person. So she's been terrific at making decisions, which was maybe my biggest fear, is that I'd have to make all the decisions, which means I may as well do it. If I have to make the decision, it's a button for me to push, but I've not had to do that. She's been great interaction with owners, with tenants, with our maintenance coordination. I just can't say enough.
I love to hear that. So, every owner that I deal with is different. Some of them have very strict guidelines, and some are more like you, like kind of just figure it out. And so I think it's always important that if you're going to be the kind of, hey, figure it out, is to give your virtual staff or your internal staff, I don't think it matters really, empower them that it's okay to make a mistake. Because you know what, there are times that when you ask somebody to make an independent decision, if you don't have a good decision tree, they may make the wrong decision. That, to me, that's okay. I would rather have people make a decision and do something than to not make the decision and put the monkey on my back. Because I'm like you, I don't have time for that. Yeah. But if you're working with virtual staff, you've got to empower them so you don't make them feel bad if they make the wrong decision. You just say, okay, not the decision I would have made. Here's my thought process, how I would have handled it. Let's try better next time.
I do that with in-office staff, right. The same as with Belle of, oh, well, I'm glad you made a decision.
Correct.
Maybe it wasn't the best one. Here's what I would have done and why. And sometimes the why gets too long with me, but but she puts up with me. And I don't even want to say biggest mistake, because it was just it was nothing. Sorry, I thought I turned my phone off. She's not made any mistakes that I'd even classify as mistakes. I don't even like the word, because it was just a different way to do things. So I've just been, I just can't say enough of the overall experience of from hiring. I got to interview 3 candidates. One was having little difficulty with her internet, and that hurt her. I think she would have been fine. The next one would have been terrific, but she was too nervous sounding over the phone, and hopefully she's gotten over that and hired somewhere, because I think she would have been terrific. And then Belle was my 3rd interview, and she was nervous, but could manage through that, and ended up being a terrific choice. I think all 3 of them would have been, but I'm super happy with the virtual assistant that I have. And when time to hire another one, I for sure am going to hire more.
Well, that's great. I love to hear that. I always like to hear how people have implemented, and I love the fact that you really empower your people. You talked about kind of the explanation of why or how you got to make a particular decision. And I think that that's super important. Again, it doesn't matter whether it's internal staff or remote staff. When we get to a point with our staff that we ask them, well, how did you make that decision? Or share with me your rationale as to how did you get there? Sometimes, honestly, when they rationalize out how they got there, I'm like, okay, with that information, I would have made the exact same decision. Yeah. And again, a lot of times it's not like life or death. I mean, very rarely in our world never is it that. But I think because we get a lot of people that, like, I came from a corporate background. Like I'm from corporate IT, HR. So I'm used to kind of policies and procedures, but I find a lot of property managers kind of just fall into this type of a role as a broker and an owner of a company. Let's face it, nobody teaches us how to own a company, nevertheless, how to manage one, right? And so the reason I love these talks with different owners is because I'm hoping that somebody can hear, oh man, maybe I can incorporate that in my business, or hey, that was a nugget that I could use to help me be better in my company and so for anybody that's out there, if you have a challenge with feeling like you have to do it all, that's a mentality that will keep you small your whole existence. And that's okay if that's your choice, but I wanted freedom. That's one of the main reasons I went to virtual assistants. Is I didn't really want to work in my property management business. I much have more fun in HireSmart, which I love. That's my favorite business out of any of the businesses I've started. It's absolutely where I plan to hang my hat at the end of my journey. But again, a lot of the same policies, procedures, guidelines come into play. I'm dealing with human capital. We are in property management too. We've got tenants and owners, and they all have their own agenda, and those agendas don't necessarily align. I've got in my HireSmart, I've got owners and I've got workers, and sometimes they need a little bit of help in that communication too. So it's kind of interesting to see the parallels. What piece of advice would you give someone who is either on the fence about hiring virtually, or might be minimally exposed to it? What would you share with that person?
So I see this in realty and property management. We're kind of birds of a feather in a lot of ways. And and maybe many of us start as realtors and end as property managers, or vice versa. So I think the crossover is there. And what I see always is, but it's not me doing it, therefore, I can't do it. And they won't do it like me. They'll probably do it better in reality. And like Belle, she cares so much to get it right that I was a little worried that she would have paralysis of analysis and not want to make a decision because she wants it to be always 100% accurate. And she's been able to make decisions. I made a mistake and used I think the word ignorant offended her because she thought I was calling her stupid, but she just didn't know whatever I was talking about. And I heard her voice tone change. I said, oh no, let me explain myself. But that's been our only and I think it was that word, but it was, not a very commonly used word, certainly not a word in the industry. But that's been our only little communication thing. But um, you got to do it and take action. And if it's a bad decision, it's not like there's tons of money on the line. You can undo it, but if you never do it, you won't see how great it can be. And I think with Ann's training and Hire Smart's training, that I couldn't believe how well versed they were in the computer. She put an Excel spreadsheet together for me because I wanted to track certain numbers. So I gave her, hey, here's kind of what I have, but it doesn't really work because it's a static document I send to you, then you change it, and I have to save over save. No, there's like, I don't even know what it is. It's Google Docs or I don't know what it is. And but I pulled it up and I can read it, and it's the work order spreadsheet, and it has notes, and I can track how many days open, and it's really super very simple. And I don't know how to do that. Belle did that. And I knew that the document could exist that way, but I don't like the computer much in reality. And it's really super simple. I thought I knew Excel pretty well, and she knows it better. And I know certain things about it, maybe a little different, but she knows it better. And so why not let her do it? And then I don't have to spend my time trying to recreate something that someone very, very talented and really cares. Been surprised how much they care about me and my business and our company. And so I've not had her. Do you know when I started, Ann?
I can look it up. I think it was about 5 months ago.
July or something, June. Um, uh, oh, maybe May, June. But she's one of us, and I've never seen her in person. I've seen her on the computer, but she's an integral part of our company, and got there quickly, really through her talent. And I don't know why I was surprised at how self-starting she was, but I assume that if they're in Hire Smarts and Ann's pool of people, that they would be of similar kind of mindset and similar training, so that what are you waiting for? You should do it. That's my advice to all my friends.
Well, thank you. It's Miss June, by the way. June 10th is her anniversary.
Yeah.
Which we will remind you of. That's one of the things that I think is so important. So, it's interesting. We've been in business about 4.5 years, and I have had VAs that have been working with me for 4.5 years. Like those very first, literally the first group of trainees I've ever had are still, a lot of them are still placed. So I have had the client that long and the VAs that long, which has been great.
That speaks volumes.
And, I think it's so important that when people think about, because there's, again, now when I started this, there were almost no choices. Like there was maybe one big gorilla, and that was it in the industry. Now there's several that have kind of popped up. But what I think from my perspective, again, I always treat clients like I would want to be treated as a client. One of the things that I think really makes a big difference is in the testing process and in the making sure that you've got the right people for that right position. You talked about having 3 candidates. Any one of those 3 could actually do the work. It's who did you like? Who did you feel like you could relate to? And then of course we put them through the paces for the soft skills. So interestingly enough, I just did my numbers because again, I'm a process numbers person. Yeah. I like to understand, and I like things that are duplicatable and replicatable. So this time last year, I had about a 20% fallout rate for my certification class. At that point, we'd only been doing a new testing process for about 6 months. Well, now we're 1.5 years, so we're 18 months in, and I really dig into that data quite frequently to make sure that what my gut tells me is actually what's happening. Yeah. And so now I'm down to fall out of my certification class down to 12%. So from 20 to 12. So now I analyze why are those 12 not working out, and it really comes down to 2 reasons. One is they don't have some of the soft skills, which you don't know until you start working with somebody. Like until you start putting them through that. And I know some of my competitors train for 8 hours. I'm sorry, 8 hours is not enough. Somebody can fake something for 8 hours. You can't fake something for 40. Like it's almost impossible. And then and then the second part is they're they don't realize how hard it is. Like, cause I put them through the paces as if it were my company. And so I'm pushing them really, really hard. And they're like, well, this was more than I anticipated, which I'd rather find that out like early on. Like if you don't have the moxie to do what, like you were saying, that you like Belle, she's a decision maker. She takes action, and not every role requires that. I mean, again, every client's different. Some people want somebody just to kind of go through the process and I can hire for that, or I can hire a generalist that can think and make decisions. So it all comes down to really the better the client's expectations with me up front of what they need, the better the results that we're going to have in the placement. Just again, knowledge is power. What would be one of the kind of the biggest aha moments that you had when you were working with Belle over the last few months? I mean, what was it you went, oh, wow, like I never thought that was possible?
I was really surprised at her commitment to us, and she's part of the family, and just seems to care so much. And I was afraid that I think in part what separates me is that I care, and I'm not. I do it for money, no question.
Of course,
but
we're all in business.
Yeah. And profit is not a dirty word, but I love to help people. And I think Belle exemplifies that she truly cares. And we're a world apart, and she cares as if I can scream at her from my office door. So I think that's what I've been most impressed with is her commitment to our success. And if she doesn't know something, she learns it so quickly that I feel a little silly saying, I don't know how to do this, but I know the program does it. Can you look into it? And she looks into it, and before I can get a chance to look at it. And so then I said, I don't even need to know how to do that. Belle did it for me. And so I've been surprised at how committed they are to our success. And we think, oh, they're doing it for only, whatever the fee is, but they're making a lot of money compared to their counterparts. Now, when I hear that I'm at a call center, I start asking questions of the person at Microsoft or, whoever I'm talking to. And so, and I start asking them, and maybe my gig isn't so bad.
Well, it's really funny because you mentioned that we've all been talking to the Filipino people for years, and most people have never even known. I mean, because one of the things that we get all the time is, well, I'm not sure about their English. I'm like, well, their English is amazing, but and again, that's part of the screening process too, because they're not all amazing, but ours are. Like the people that I place are amazing, or neutral, or they're not talking on the phone. They're doing some other technical skill that doesn't require great verbal communication. So that's awesome. Well, I always ask my guests, what's the one thing you're proud of? And I love the fact that this was your answer. You says, I'm proud of the great job we do for our clients, and that we will always keep doing the right thing. And that's actually one of our core values. So our core values are smarter. And under the E is ethics and integrity, which I define as doing the right thing even when no one's watching.
Yeah.
Because that's, whether you're going to get caught or not doesn't matter. Ethics and integrity are always about doing the right thing. And I think when you do the right thing, you're going to be blessed. So all of our VAs kind of commit to those core values. And if anybody's interested in knowing our core values, they're listed right on our website. So you can go to hiresmartvas.com/about. And our core values are literally posted there, because I think it's super important that, again, we talk about that company culture. So we want our VAs to kind of buy in to that. So we actually, when we had our quarterly meeting, every time I go through our core values again, just to make sure that they understand kind of what we're looking, but that lends itself to the quality of people that we attract and that we maintain. So Mark, is there anything else that you would want to share with our listeners today? And again, I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And if you're at all thinking about hiring a VA, you should, without question. And I wish I had done it sooner. And I'd have a lot more money in my pocket because I would have saved $3,000 a month for 10 years. So, but I didn't realize we could still get that close customer personalized service and be a world away. We've not experienced that. And so I think you should do it. It frees up your time and you won't regret it.
Well, thank you for that. Well, listen, if you're interested in finding out more about us, you can go to hiresmartvas.com and you can have the same results that Mark does as well. Of course, if you're listening and you're looking for a great property management company, I would encourage you to check out Mark Scott, the broker at Encore Realty. His contact information I'll be following shortly. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, everyone.